I recently transplanted my Barbados Acerolla Cherry tree, and I wanted to show you a problem I ran into. This tree was purchased in June of 2019. It came in a 15-gallon container. I meant to transplant it last season, but I just couldn't find the time. Before getting into the problem I ran into, take a look at the color of the leaves. If you look at the bottom portion, you can see that the leaves are a deep green color and they look healthy. As you make your way up the tree, you will notice that the leaves turn more yellowish in color the further up you go. It's a little difficult to see the difference in color due to the reflection of the sun, but the upper leaves are definitely much lighter. And now we get to the problem I was referring to. So when I finally got around to transplanting this tree, this is what I found when I removed the tree from the container. It was completely root bound. This is by far the worst root bound tree I've ever transplanted. Who knows how long the nursery had it growing in a 15-gallon container. Initially, I thought the yellow leaves may have been due to overwatering. We recently had some heavy rains for several days, and I thought that might be the cause. Of course, once I cut out the bottom of the container, I quickly realized the problem. It's obvious the tree was struggling with its uptake of nutrients due to the fact that it was root bound. Before putting it in the ground, I separated the roots that were circling the pot and spread them out as best I could. I was going to just cut the roots off, but I did a little more online research and found some information on studies that showed trying to untangle the roots was better than cutting them off. That is, provided they are not girdling the trunk of the tree and/or the diameter of the circling roots measure less than the thickness of a pencil. These roots were not too difficult to spread out, so hopefully the tree will do fine. After digging the hole, I added some worm castings and acid mites to the bottom. I'd like to note that this whole area was previously prepped and the soil had been amended with organic soil mix, cactus soil mix, chicken manure, in anticipation of planting this tree and a few others. After placing the tree in the ground, I decided to widen the planting hole a bit in order to spread out the roots further. I placed a wire mesh around the base of the tree and filled it with pumice. I then spread the wood chips around the bottom. After seeing how badly root bound the Barbados was, I took a closer look at some of my other trees I have growing in containers, like this Rio Red semi-dwarf grapefruit tree. This tree has not been looking all that healthy lately. It's managed to put a good amount of fruit. I've already harvested a few off this tree and it still has quite a few left on it. These are all about ready for harvest, so I'll be picking these off soon. As you can see though, the leaves are not looking all that healthy and it's lost several leaves. I don't have the space to put this in the ground, so I'll be transplanting it to a container it's a little bit larger, like this one. This wooden container measures about 24 by 24 by 24. So it should be large enough for another 3 years or so. We'll see how it goes. This is another tree I need to transplant. This is my starfruit tree. I purchased this one nearly 4 years ago. It was transplanted to the 15-gallon container it's in now shortly afterwards, so it's been in this container for about 3.5 years. Last few years it has produced a very large amount of blooms. As you can see in this video of its last bloom in August of last year, it has a really heavy set of flowers. Just about every branch had several flowers. The tree was doing well and the leaves were looking really healthy, and I thought I was going to wind up with a really big harvest. Unfortunately, within a few days after taking that video, the majority of the leaves turned yellow and most of them fell off. If you've been following my channel, you've heard me talk about this tree before. I'll put a link at the end of this video so you can get more info on how I corrected the problem. Anyway, after all those blooms, less than 20 starfruit were harvested. In past years, the biggest harvest I've ever had off this tree is about 25. It produces good sized fruit with excellent flavor. Hopefully, once I move it into a larger container, which will be the same size as the wooden container I just showed you, it should do better. And here's another tree that is on my list for transplanting. This is a Mexicola avocado. It was purchased about 5 years ago and it's been in this 22-inch container for about 4 years. I won't be transplanting this one until I harvest any fruit that this tree will hopefully produce. This will be its first real harvest. In early January, I did manage to harvest the very first avocado this tree ever produced, but it was only one, so I don't really call that a harvest. Hopefully this time around, with all of the flower buds it produced, which is by far the heaviest it's ever produced, I'll get a decent harvest off of it. And here's another tree that is on my transplanting list. This is a Meyer lemon, which has been growing in this container for about 4 years as well. It's done well in this container, and it's a steady producer. And as you can see, it's in bloom again. But like I said, it's been in this container for 4 years, so I'm sure it's ready for transplant, and hopefully it will also do better in a bigger container. I also have this Jabuticaba. I believe that's correct pronunciation. I'll put the name on the screen. I purchased this tree back in April of 2016. It came in a small 6-inch pot and was only standing about 12 inches tall. It's been potted a couple of times since then. The last transplant was to this 15-gallon container that it's in now, which was about 2 years ago. It's a fairly slow growing tree, and it's done well, and I doubt it's getting root bound, but it should be ready for transplant. So this is another one that will be going into either a wooden container, or I may decide to place it over in this area right next to this Barbados. I'm still a bit undecided on this one, so I'll save it for last, but hopefully whether I decide to put it in the ground or into a wooden container, I'm hoping to be able to get around to it this season. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching. If you would like to follow along, please consider subscribing to my channel so that you won't miss any update videos. I'm getting ready to do a spring tour. There's a lot of trees that are coming out of their dormant period. Some of them are starting to flower and even set fruit, so I'll be doing a walk around tour so you can take a look at what's going on. So if you'd like to follow along, please consider subscribing, and don't forget to hit that bell so you can be notified as soon as I upload a new video. As always, stay safe, grow your own, and thank you for watching.